So we saw exactly what happened. We saw you pour gasoline over the top of her head. She stumbles to the ground. You lean over and light her on fire.
It's a quiet afternoon at a gas station in Gahanna, Ohio, when the unthinkable happens. A woman is doused in gasoline and set on fire in broad daylight.
A guy just set water on fire. A guy set what on fire? A guy just set water on fire.
When first responders arrive, they find 31-year-old Judy Malinowski in such a horrific condition, it silences everyone at the scene. She's rushed to the hospital. Judy was still alive.
Judy, can you hear me?
She was paralyzed, sedated, and in unrelenting pain. But she wasn't just surviving. She was holding on with one purpose: to bring her attacker to justice. And with that, she defied every odds and did what no victim had ever done before.
Hi, my name is Judy Malinowski, and I'm ready to testify.
No one in the courtroom could have imagined what was about to unfold next. Something that would change the very course of Judy's life and leave a mark so deep it still haunts the prosecutors to this day. But to truly understand how this began, we have to go back to the beginning.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judy.
Before the world knew her name, Judith Ann Malinowski was just a devoted mother of two, trying to rebuild her life. A former beauty queen and cancer survivor, Judy had already been through more than most ever will. But she had hope for her daughters, for a new chapter. However, that hope would come crashing down the day she met Michael Slager. Like many women, Judy was smitten by Michael. He was charming, confident, the kind of man who always knew exactly what to say. But behind that smile was a violent temper, a criminal past, and an obsession that was only getting darker. And it finally broke down on August 2nd, 2015. Judy had just stepped out of her car at a local Speedway gas station in Gahanna, Ohio. What was supposed to be a simple stop turned into a living nightmare, and the man who caused it landed in the same hospital with burns on his hands, and a story so warped, even seasoned cops had to stop and ask, was he really that delusional or just that dangerous?
Right. All right. What about?
This interrogation begins in the last place anyone would expect, a hospital.
Okay, talk to you about what happened. Okay. I see you still got some burns there.
Yeah.
Those are pretty painful.
Yeah, my legs, my fingers swelled up.
Michael appears every bit the victim, wounded, shaken, pointing out his injuries to detectives. Even his own words echo that narrative. But listen closely.
I tried to put her out.
He says he was trying to save Judy, but when reviewing the CCTV footage, the truth is undeniable. A woman burning alive in heart-wrenching flames. And Michael, the self-proclaimed hero, is nowhere in sight. So where was he? Maybe he was in agony, in pain, because the injuries he's about to show paint him in a very different light.
Yeah, that's how you got the burns. Okay. Care if I take some pictures just to document your injuries? Is that good? You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is translating?
Yeah, if we can get a light on.
Sure what I just did.
So on your leg here,
Yeah.
on your right leg. First I'm going to take an overall shot so everybody knows who I'm taking a photo of. Oh. If you move your hand, I can try to get it a little better. Okay. Hands, you said you had some on your hands.
Yeah.
That hand at all?
Yeah. And then my face. See it?
Around your nose and stuff, yep. Let me get in here nice and close.
These all suggest a completely opposite narrative of what might have happened that day at Gahanna gas station. And to factually solve this case, it is important to revisit the early months of 2015, when Judy had just recovered from cancer. In a vulnerable state, physically, emotionally, and mentally, she became prey to a predator who masked himself as a kind, charismatic man, the same man we saw moments ago in the interrogation room. They first reconnected online, and from their very first date, they became inseparable. But the charm that drew Judy in would soon reveal itself as a facade. How much of the truth he's telling lies in their dating history? Like many toxic relationships, theirs wasn't built on love, but on something far more twisted. Michael was a drug addict, and he had pulled Judy into that world too. Her dependency began with painkillers, but soon spiraled into heavier drugs. That's when the relationship took its darkest turn. Arguments became routine, and for Michael, who had a long, charming history of abusing past girlfriends, it was second nature to inflict the same cruelty on Judy. No one could have imagined it would come to this. Judy, lying in a hospital bed, fighting for her life. It wasn't calculated. It was a disturbing manifestation of their broken relationship. And as the detective Chad Cohagen looked at Michael, he could already see it in his demeanor. But first, he has to play along, following a formal procedure to give him a false sense of security.
So, before we start talking, I'm going to read your Miranda rights. You've heard it before. Okay. The following are your rights under Miranda. You must understand that. You have the right to remain silent. You don't have to speak with me. If you do speak with me, what you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to have an attorney with you while speaking with me. You also have the right to have an attorney with you while speaking with me. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you without cost to you. Also understand that if you decide to speak with me, you may stop speaking at any time. Knowing these rights, you're willing to speak with me at this time.
Yeah, I'll talk to you for now, and
Okay. Yeah,
but
you can
I
stop
know I
answering.
got my attorneys on his way up.
Okay, you can stop answering questions anytime you want. Okay, so you want to
Yeah.
talk?
You know,
All right, answer yes. Are you able to write?
it just hurts.
Of course it hurts, but if that small burn is painful, imagine what it's like for Judy. Just feet away in the same hospital, she's clinging to life, severely burned, and in unimaginable agony. And here's Michael, struggling to sign a piece of paper with the same hand he injured while killing her. But the full story hasn't even surfaced yet. We're about to see what Michael has to say, and it's not at all what Detective Chad would expect in a situation like this.
Tell me what happened.
Well, first of all, before I start talking about that, I'd rather have my attorney about here
Okay.
because he told me not to talk to you about that. But there's a couple things that I have questions. That's why I said I'll talk to you.
If that wasn't infuriating enough, what Michael does next will surely push anyone to their edge.
My truck.
Mhm.
You guys confiscated my truck.
We did.
When can that be released?
Well, right now we're going to do a search warrant for it. We're going to look inside. We're going to grab some things, see if there's anything of any evidentiary value to take out of there that may help us determine exactly what happened. Okay. Once that's done, it may be released.
What about my
to
phone?
Your phone, yeah, we'll take the phone too, just to make sure there's nothing on the phone that isn't gonna be pertinent to the case here.
Well,
Does that make sense?
I don't understand how the phone has any pertinence to the case.
Well, in every case, with this severity, we try to make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. So we just, need to make sure that there's nothing on the phone that is either gonna, show your guilt or show your innocence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
His concern isn't Judy's condition. It's the whereabouts of his phone and truck. No attempt at fake sympathy, not even a flicker of remorse. But the thing he's dreading is about to land squarely on him, and he's in for a surprise.
So am I under arrest or something?
Right now, yeah, you are under arrest.
What am I being charged with?
You're gonna be charged with felonious assault and aggravated arson. Okay. Let me just be direct with you too, Mike. Okay. Where it happened at, there's an ATM right there. Okay. That ATM records all the time. We had detectives go pull the footage. We reviewed the footage. We've all seen the footage. We know exactly what happened. Okay. So we saw exactly what happened. We saw you pour gasoline over top of her head. She stumbles to the ground. You lean over and light her on fire. Okay. We saw that happen.
And as the saying goes, no matter how big or small criminals are, they always leave a trace. In Michael's case, That trace wasn't just a clue, it was a blazing trail that led straight to his prison cell. How could he be so blind to the fact that every second of his heinous act was caught on camera? How could he possibly believe he could burn Judy alive and walk away as if nothing happened? How dare he think he could rip the children from their mother's arms and not face the full weight of justice? People like Michael wear a cloak of warmth and affection, but they're only biding their time, waiting for that moment you're vulnerable so they can strike with precision, leaving devastation in their wake. Anyone in Judy's place would most likely also have been blind, because love has a way of shielding us from the dangers lurking beneath the very people we cherish. But here's where it gets interesting. Detective Cohagen, questioning him, doesn't want Michael to think that. Instead, he uses a well-known interrogation strategy, the minimization tactic. Viewers who follow our cases may recognize this approach from interrogations like Brian Stephen Smith and Lana Barton.
We also know that you then tried to save her. Okay, you went and got a fire extinguisher. You burnt yourself. You hurt yourself trying to save her. That shows me that you weren't trying to kill her. The moment kind of just got away from you. You made a terrible mistake, and that's what happened. Okay, I don't think you were trying to hurt her as bad as she ended up getting hurt. I think you guys were fighting, it got away from you, and that's what happened. You went and got the extinguisher, you tried to put her out, you hurt yourself and saved her. But we saw what happened. We know what happened.
That's not the way it looks. So I'll just wait and talk to my attorney then.
If it's not the way it looks, I'd love to hear what more there is to it.
After asking for an attorney, which is indeed a smart move, Michael makes a critical slip, and he has little idea how this statement is going to cost him.
Well,
because right now, Mike, it looks like you poured gasoline on her and you set her on fire. If there's more to the story, I need to know that. We care about the truth, the entire truth of the whole situation. Okay? We know right now what we've seen on video. And the video's terrible.
okay.
But if you'd like to fill me in on what happened and the backstory, I'm all ears, man.
Okay.
I'd love to hear it. What happened? What led up to that?
Well, we were arguing. She threw pop on my face, and then we was going back and forth with it. And she come in and spit in my face, and I said, "Oh, well, here, you want to ruin my stuff up?" Because that's how I took it. I said, "Here, boom, I'm gonna ruin your clothes." It wasn't to start her on fire or nothing. You know what I mean? It was just to ruin her clothes.
Right. Yeah. Basically, you've ruined my stuff. I'm gonna ruin your stuff.
So she didn't stumble. She just sat down. She was sitting down, and then she said, "Well, I was getting ready to leave." And she's like, "Well," because I was just gonna say, leave.
Yeah, take off.
And she was like, "Well, don't leave. Can you bring me a cigarette and stuff?" And she was getting ready to change clothes because she's got extra clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I didn't think I got, there was that, realized it was going to be that.
Sure.
So I walked over to give her a light. That was it.
Now, let's break down why Michael's story is completely illogical. No sane person would casually spill gasoline on themselves at a gas station while filling their car. And even if that somehow happened, no rational mind would make the genius decision of having a smoke while being covered in gas. Unless, of course, the intent was murder. And that's exactly what Michael wanted. He deliberately doused Judy in gasoline, set her on fire, watched her burn, watched her scream and beg for her life. It wasn't until a passerby rushed to help Judy that Michael finally grabbed the fire extinguisher. And Michael isn't done yet. He goes even further with his fabricated story.
And then she just...
And when she went up, I couldn't believe it. I just didn't think that it was going to be like that.
Right.
Because she was starting to get ready to get undressed and change out her clothes.
And that's when you ran and got the...
Yeah, that's when, I wasn't trying to start her on fire or anything else like that. It was literally just, well, you ruin my clothes, I'm going to ruin yours. It wasn't,
Right.
Period.
Yeah, it was just, kind of getting back at her, not wanting to hurt her.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to light her on fire or hurt her or anything or cause anything.
What did you throw the gas? Where did you get the gas? Where did you throw the gas? What was the gas in?
It was in a container.
What type of container?
Gas can.
Oh, gas can. Do you remember color?
Red.
Yeah, red. Okay. How much gas do you think you poured on it?
Oh, not that much.
How big was the gas can?
It was.
Was it all the way full?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't all the way full, but it was.
Pretty close to the
Yeah,
top.
and it's still full.
Okay. So you didn't pour all the gas in it. So it was like a little 2.5 gallon can.
And I don't remember. I have a couple of them
Okay.
in my truck.
Plastic, metal.
Metal.
Okay. So a 2.5 or little gas can. We don't know how much it was. Poured some on her. Not the whole. Not all of it.
Yeah, it was actually just on the side of her clothes. It was, I wasn't trying to.
You're basically just saying, you ruined my clothes, I'm going to ruin your clothes, and then,
We were just.
and things happen. Things get out of hand.
But I wasn't trying to set her on fire. I would never do that. I wasn't even trying to. That wasn't my intentions.
Okay. So, poured the gas on her, then what'd you do with the can?
Put it back in the truck.
Put it back in the truck. Inside the truck, outside of the truck?
In the bed of the truck.
In the bed of the truck. Okay. And then walk me through what happened then.
Then. I'm trying to. So, then, I went to the truck, and I got in the truck and shut the door and everything. She's like, no, just bring me one, She walked off. And then she said, you want a cigarette? Then she ran off, and then it was hard. No, when I pulled up, she got out the truck. She's like, okay, I got to go sit over here and wait, blah, blah, blah. So I went to pull off. And she started walking, so I stopped and got her back in. She said, I can't go anywhere without cigarettes, all this, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So that's when we went to the gas station. I went in the gas station to get cigarettes and everything for her. And then all this happened.
South from there.
But it wasn't
What were you guys fighting over?
because she was. I was saying that you weren't trying to go and you're not going to go and and all this, and she was like, well, I was saying,
And then it all just kind of went south.
but I wasn't trying to. I was just like, oh, okay, you're gonna dump stuff on my clothes, I'm gonna dump stuff on your clothes.
Right. Did she have a cigarette in her mouth when you went to light it?
Yeah,
Was she sitting up? Was she
she was
standing?
sitting up.
She was sitting up?
Yeah, she was sitting up.
Even Detective Chad Cohagen is clearly taken aback by Michael's claims, as if the crime isn't sickening enough.
So you went to light it with your lighter?
Yeah,
What's your lighter look like?
it was a green one.
The term is here? Okay.
It's a green lighter.
Yeah, I started saying that.
But I wasn't. I really wasn't trying to hurt her. It was an accident. I didn't.
Right. You just kinda got out of
When
here.
you guys see that thing, it just makes it look all different. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It just.
Hi, come on in.
It does. Yeah. It makes it look completely different.
Here's
Hey,
my
that's
attorney.
It does.
I'm not hesitant to shake hands with everybody.
That's fine.
I'm full of germs.
Detective Cohagen, this is the Detective Sergeant Murphy. We'll look again.
Yeah, hello. I guess I would like to speak with him privately if I can.
You can.
And then, is he under some kind of order right now?
Yeah, he's under arrest. He should be considered under arrest right now.
Okay.
Michael has no clue that as he lies in the hospital room, his carefully crafted story is crumbling. Neither his attorney nor his performance can shield him from what's coming. He thought he had played his cards well, so well that he was on the brink of escaping punishment. But then came a moment that shocked the nation and the course of justice forever. Judy's attorney secured something no one thought possible.
We were denied her testimony at the trial when at the last minute there was a no contest plea and we didn't have her testimony.
Judy's own testimony, reported directly from her hospital bed. In unbearable pain and having over 90% of her body burned, she gave her own testimony, becoming the first victim in history to testify at her own murder trial.
Hi, my name is Judy Malinowski, and I'm ready to testify.
She wasn't sedated. She wasn't numbed by painkillers. Every word she spoke came through agony.
It hurts so bad. I don't want to do it. I have to.
Yet she fought, not for herself, but for justice. And what you're about to see are Judy's last moments, her final breath spent pleading for the truth to be heard.
Could you please raise your right hand to the extent that you possibly can? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this deposition?
I do.
Thank you.
Sunday, August 2nd, 2015. Do you recall that day?
August 2nd, 2015, yes, I do.
Okay. And on that day, were you with Mr. Slager?
Yes.
When you were with Mr. Slager, you indicated that the two of you stopped at Speedway. What did you stop there for?
Yes, cigarettes.
You smoke cigarettes, correct?
Yes.
At least you
I
did.
used to.
What happened as you stood behind that Speedway?
Mike called me all sorts of names. We argued for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then I threw my pop on him.
You threw a pop on him?
Yes.
Did you splash it on him or actually throw the cup at him?
I threw the cup at him.
Okay. What was his reaction to this?
Was extremely upset.
And what did he do?
He ran around to the other side of his truck, and he got his cans of gasoline that he had kept in the back of his truck. It was really big and had a lot of gas. He ran around to me and started pouring gasoline, started at my head and worked his way down. Some got through my throat as he did that. That burnt really bad.
The gasoline in your throat burnt really bad?
Yes.
And what's his demeanor as he's pouring the gasoline on you?
Evil, just completely evil. He's not responding to any of my cries for help. He won't tell me why. He just is like, you want to throw something on somebody, you want to throw a cop on me, see what I'll do to you, bitch, and how do you like this? And
after he poured the gasoline on you, what happens next?
he backed away from me for about 30 seconds, and I kept telling him to please help me and stop, and I'll get the truck, I'll go with you. You know, why would you do this? And I looked at him, and he pulled a lighter out of his pocket, and he started walking towards me.
Did you make up with him in any way during these 30 seconds between him pouring gasoline on you and pulling out the lighter and setting you on fire?
No.
Did you have a cigarette?
No.
Did you ask for a light?
No.
Was his approaching you with that lighter accidental? Did he trip or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No. I just remember crying and begging for help, and he let me on fire, and the look in his eyes went black, literally, after I was set on fire, and he backed away. His eyes just turned black as I screamed for his help. He did nothing.
The most devastating part is this: her testimony would have never counted if she had survived.
And that's when they approached Judy about testifying to her own homicide. It was a long shot because it had never been done. Nobody had ever testified to their own homicide in the United States.
Judy knew this. She knew the price of justice was her life, and with no hope of recovery, she made the hardest choice any mother could, leaving behind her children, knowing she would never see them grow.
It destroyed my life, my family's life, my kids' life, everyone around us' life.
Judy may have been the only one who fully understood her time was ending, and just moments after her testimony, she was gone. In 2018, Michael Slager stood before the court for sentencing. The same man who once smirked and denied his crimes now faced the weight of Judy's final words. The prosecution leaned heavily on Judy's testimony. Her voice from the hospital bed became the strongest piece of evidence.
The pain inflicted by burns, there's no pain like that. And you've done it and you haven't been sorry.
The jury had already seen the burns, the hospital photos, and heard the medical experts, but nothing compared to Judy's own words, spoken through unimaginable suffering.
It's terrifying to feel this way, and it's terrifying also to be disformed in certain ways. My whole body hurts.
As the sentence was read, the courtroom was silent. Michael Slager was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole. For Judy's family, it was justice, but not closure. They had lost a daughter, a sister, a mother. But in the end, Judy didn't just testify. She rewrote what justice could mean. And Michael Slager will spend the rest of his life haunted by the voice he tried to silence.